Alright, went to the stereo shop the other day, met with the owner and planned out the remote start, alarm system, backup camera, continuation of the stereo system, which is going to be this sub, which is going to be embedded in the cabinet that's going to go here. It's going to be embedded into the front of it, and so I had to go buy that because I want to get that cabinet built and ideally just sink that in there, not have to deal with it later. One of these new fancy subs that doesn't have to travel quite as much. The whole cone doesn't travel quite as much, or it travels within its own frame more, or something like that. So one of the big pluses about it is it doesn't need a really big box behind it, a big space like the old cabinets. Like I was figuring that this entire space would be used for the sub, but it turns out it's going to be a sliver of this box, because it's meant, that sub is a 10-inch sub, and it's meant to go in a cabinet space that's about the same size as the box that it comes in. It's quite compact. So yeah, so today I'm gonna start working on my cabinet, I think, or cutting the hole in the side of it for this sub. This thing weighs a ton, but there's my circle template for my cabinet. So I routed the edges and stained it, and it's good. Baffle for the sub. Alright, just building the sub box on the back of this wall, back of the front closet wall, and these new subs don't need much space. So this is only like 3 3/4 thick by that much, and that's about all it needs, so I'm told. Hope that actually works out. It's not like the old days when you need a 3-foot box. Oh no, I cut a square hole for a round speaker. What will I do? Just kidding. So the square is exactly the size of the biggest parts of the circle. So the speaker will, or the sub will, screw into this and the grill, and then the box that I just built will attach to the back of this. I still have to make the face of the back box that acts as the amplifier for the speaker. I have to cut that out, and then I pretty much will have the parts, I think, and then I'm going to put on the angle brackets, but first I got to put up that header thing. I got to do a couple more cuts on it, and then I can put that header in. Alright, we got a package. Ding, ding, ding. They're LED. Well, it's been raining for weeks. It's just been rain here on the East Coast. Been crazy. Anyway, today, what have I done? Oh yeah, when this board went too short to not meet where the cabinet is likely going to start, so I cut it right at the backing wood support, where my backing wood is. So I cut it just short of that, and then cut another piece to fill in. Same on the other side. So now when the support comes in right around here, probably for this back cabinet, it'll be this wood all the way to the cabinet. And then I sanded my homemade board, header board, and I took the old board that was from the original one and cut it down and screwed it, or air gunned it to this, and now I'm gonna put it up there. So that's kind of exciting, because once that's in place, I believe I can really start putting this cabinet together, which will house the sub. So that's all kind of neat. Alright, that's in place. I used 18 gauge staples on the air gun in here, up into this, and then up here I just have a couple screws, one of them going deep and the rest of them just going into the surface wood and then into the styrofoam behind it, and it ain't going nowhere. It's fantastic. So now I may turn my attention to this thing. Alright, this is the wall behind the driver's seat, hole for the sub. I screwed the box to the back of it, which will be the airtight compartment for the sub, and I'm going to seal around the edges with either some that blue tuck tape or some silicone. If I use silicone, it's going to off-gas for a while, so I'm not sure which. Wound up going silicone on the inside, silicone right up. Used the stuff that I was using on the edges of the roof. All right, gonna fasten that down. Alright, got the back on this temporarily. Not sealed because this will have to come off for the speaker wires to, the power wires to come in. And I don't know if they're going to put the amp inside there or outside of it, but anyway. So I put the shelving that I had already built, the L brackets for it, on the outside of this, because I really didn't want to lose any space in this cabinet. Because I had it wide enough to be able to put two sets of Tupperware containers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So high enough to stack two, and then two wide. And if I had have taken this into consideration and not put the brackets out here, but rather put the shelf here, I wouldn't have enough room for those bins. So in the long run, I'll figure out whether that was worth it or not, but there's nothing wrong with having a nice big closet. Alright, so I want to put a crossbar, big cross brace in the back of the van for multiple reasons, and you'll see why later, I guess. But my experience with 100-year-old wood, or really old wood, is the density of this old resinous wood is just like steel compared with today's lumber. It's just unreal, the difference. So this is way too big. This is like a 2x6, I guess, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was really a 2x6. Let me see here. No, oh no, okay, so this might actually somewhat be what they called a 2x4 back in the time, and it's almost actually a 2x5. So I guess maybe it's a 2x5, I don't know. Anyway, just tremendously strong wood compared with today's lumber. So I'm going to pull the nails out of it. I'm going to cut it down both in width and in length to the size I want, and then I'm going to sand it up real good, and it's going to be the top bar in the brace that I want to put in the back. Alright, so I took some of these old 100-year-old pieces of lumber and plane them and sand them and carve them, and I wanted one good heavy-duty support roll bar, attach all kind of thing, so that I can strap exercise bands to it. I could put a handle on it to pull yourself up out of bed in the morning. It can be an anchor point for cabinets and whatnot. And it's so unbelievably strong, that old lumber, that if this thing was ever in a rollover, that is some serious structure there. Like, as far as, I don't know how much impact or how much weight these turtle tops could handle. I can't imagine the situation that you, well, no, I can't imagine a situation where you could roll one of these things. But yeah, there's a tremendous amount of structure in there. So I'm going to put some angle brackets up in the corner to keep it all there. And from that point back will likely be a cabinet, an overhead cabinet in the back, much shallower than the original. Yes, that's sort of where I'm at with that. Alright. I just had a freak out moment. I turned around and there was a great big coyote right out beside the van. And he moseyed on down the driveway, and then he got to the street and he turned around and he just sat there and looked at me, and he was not afraid of me at all, and he was a good size. And so I just picked up a couple rocks and biffed them at him, and he just moseyed on up the road. And so now I'm just kind of freaking out, like every little shadow, every reflection. But anyway, I was thinking about quitting for the night and going in, but I think I'm going to keep working. My hammer is about the only thing I got. My chainsaw is electric, so that ain't going to scare nobody. Anyway, so with those kind of brackets and support wood and stuff, I put together the bed frame, 38 inches across, and now I'm just getting ready to put the deck on it. Coyotes everywhere, coyotes. Alright, survived the coyotes last night, working away here. So I put down this one, and then I put down this one, and underneath here there's a piece of 3/4 inch plywood that goes from here to here. One screw in it, just holding it in place for now, and this one goes from over here to over here. So it provides support in the center here, and it brings support to the edge of that and to the edge of that. If you look under, it just looks like that. That was not even touching the ground, but when I sit on the bed, it will. And it'll take the pressure off the rest of the braces. The other thing I did is I had an old floor model radio, or a stereo, and I cut the top off of it, and I'd saved the parts, and one of the things I saved was this piano hinge. And so I just screwed that on there so that you can incline your bed. I put the hinge on backwards so it would sit flush, so it only goes that far. But then I cut different sticks of different length, because I'll come up with a better solution later. But I put this piece of 3/4 inch plywood across here, because this is only 1/2 inch. All of this is mostly just 1/2 inch. And just to add a little more structure to this, I put this 3/4 inch on there, screwed it through the front, put a notch in the center that's about 3 inches. These are 1/2 inch pieces of varying lengths, 3 inches wide, 1/2 inch plywood, and there you go. So you can recline, and I have different elevations of recline, and eventually I'll come up with a better way of doing that, some sort of an adjustable arm. And who knows, at some point someday I may want to change where this is. Maybe it needs to be farther ahead, maybe it needs to be back with less stuff to prop up. It's hard to say because I just wing it. But anyway, yeah, so that's an inexpensive little way to prop yourself up if you like to read at night or watch TV or whatever. So that's that. So now I am figuring out how big this unit's going to be. That's going to be right here beside the closet. And I thought water storage will be my marker. Who knows what's really going to go here, but so I measured out 4. So in theory you could put 80 liters right there. Don't know if I'll ever do that, but if you were going in the outback or whatever, I don't know, the desert. So I'm just using it as a measuring point. Now I knew that I wanted to make this one shallower than this one. I wanted it to come in a little bit just to open up this space in front of my feet, because this shelf is going to go here, so it's going to be really closed in, and so I wanted to have a little more space over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up, and I may build 2 separate boxes here. Not sure yet, but I want to have like a bit of a height of an end table. So I got to guesstimate how much space mattress and stuff is going to be. I'm going to get some stuff to sit on, try and approximate that, and then build that first table at the height of what would basically be sort of a nightstand, and have it no corner here, so that it kind of this opens straight up. And yeah, so that's that. And then on top it will be another cabinet, and then probably a cabinet going from there over to there, and another cabinet back here, because you just can't have enough cabinets. So anyway, that's the deal there. That's what I'm doing, trying to figure out this bottom cabinet. All right, so we'll talk to you soon.
Are you beaten, broken, destroyed, got nothing left? You've given up and you feel like checking out? Don't. Start thinking outside the cage.